joke of the day is that there is no joke. We are the jokes because life is busy and we are busy. But welcome to Racing Home Podcast. You're joined by your guests or your hosts, Fez Bobber and Nick Agater. We don't have a guest today.
No guess.
Nick, let's talk about what
Yes.
happened, man. We have a lot of updates to tell people with your car, with what I did, and whatnot. So
Yeah, we got a
go
lot
for
of
it,
catching
man.
up to do. So Saturday was a members day over at Harris Hill. So you drove down to Austin and stayed at my place, and then
Mhm.
we went out and met up with some track homies. And again, yeah, members day. So we got open tracking to go and experiment. I was really looking forward to this because I needed to go and verify that everything I'd done to the car was kosher and could actually handle track environments. I've been doing some data logs with the Focus, and backstory on that, I've said this before, but I have new intercooler 85 tune. So just re-data logging, getting the tune optimized again with JST or Brian from JST Performance. And on the street, there's not really a boost problem, but on the track, I discovered I had a bit of a boost issue. Actually, a really big boost issue.
Oh yeah, so you got your car tested and didn't have those issues on street, but now you're having those issues on track.
Yeah, so on the street, I can beat around. I can floor through second, third, and fourth, and never had the ECU go into limp mode. And
Mhm.
I had a boost coupler issue, which I had talked about at the beginning of the year back in Dallas, but I thought I had that resolved, but it turns out I did not.
Mm.
So going out on track, literally the very first, it was the outlap. Wasn't even warm hot lapping it. Just going on the outlap, turn number 3, and barely hitting peak boost, and the car is going into limp mode on the ECU side. So boost coupler was still holding on, but it was detecting an overboost situation for the given parameters. I don't know, a lot of stuff.
So
So
what
in any
led
case,
to that though? Like what did you change from last time that's started causing you all those issues?
for the ECU, thinking it was going into overboost,
Mhm.
the wastegate actuator. So I have a new
Mm.
TurboSmart wastegate actuator, and I thought that I maybe messed up with the preload because you have to set the preload correctly.
Mhm.
Um, but it's that and the intercooler. But the intercooler should not have caused it to go into overboost. So I was concerned about the wastegate actuator. So we're
Mhm.
tuning for that one. Message Brian, he told me to go back to a previous tune. So I did that, went back out, same problem. And then I tried going out again and tried to go a little bit easier, and I didn't hit the ECU limit. But what I did hit was the boost coupler. So the boost coupler slid off. Then you and I went out, and I was able to buy new wrenches so I could actually get to this clamp on tighter properly. And I
Mhm.
tried the old hairspray trick. Went out, popped off again. So I was like, all right, I have nothing else here to go and try to get this resolved. And also, whenever the coupler was popping off, it was only hitting 22 psi.
Mm.
Whereas in stock form, as I've had it for the past 6 years, is able to go and maintain 24 psi consistently, no
Mm.
problem. So at that point, it was my understanding was all right, we're not truly overboosting in the sense that it's not hitting 30 psi. It's not hitting any numbers that's astronomical. I am looking at the intercooler piping versus the stock one. The stock one is a plastic end tank. But what that means is that it has ridges on it and a really, really fat lip for the clamp and the boost hose to grab onto and actually bite into and stay on. Whereas the Cobb intercooler, it has smooth aluminum end tanks and a pretty small lip, to be honest, like the aluminum bead to go and have the clamp grab onto or prevent it from slipping off. Well, that bead is, yeah, too small, so it was slipping right off. So reached out to Cobb, and probably no surprise, but their recommendation was to, if I've already done the hairspray trick and tried adding better clamps, they go and purchase their hard pipe kit. So I was like, well, okay, that sure, it's your own product, but it does make sense. And the other piece to it as well is that because this is a hard pipe, there's no real room for that flexible pipe on the OEM one. The OEM one can flex backwards and pop off. Whereas
Mhm.
in the hard pipe kit, there's no actual movement for the pipe to go backwards. If
Mhm.
it truly wanted to go backwards, I have to unbolt it from the transmission. There's a little like
Mm,
bolt it goes into. So in any case, so Monday I reached out to the Cobb location here in Austin. Fortunately, they're here locally from me, about 30-minute drive from the house. They had one in stock, so I am driving to their location on the phone, giving them my credit card number, securing it before someone online purchases it from underneath me, pick it
mhm,
up, and then that Monday night I get it installed. Tuesday, I hop on line to see like, okay, I need to make sure that the boost tubes are actually good to go. I need to verify that I actually have my boost problems resolved, at least physically.
mhm.
When's the next track day? I was thinking like this
I didn't
weekend.
know you got the Cobb hard pipes.
Yeah, I got a Monday.
I thought you just put an extra clamp on there.
Nope. I like bought the whole kit. It was like a $400 kit.
Jeez.
But it fixed. It works.
Okay, well, go ahead.
Cuz like it replaced all of the piping from the turbo to the
Mhm,
intercooler and the piping from the intercooler to the throttle body. All that
mm.
piping is brand new right now.
Gotcha, gotcha. So, that's good to know. I mean, so continuing on with your story about how you're finding the new event.
Yeah. So anyways, so Tuesday morning I was like looking around and seeing like all right, or trying to plan out like all right, realistically when's the next time I could get on track? Because I don't have a lot of weekends between now and rev up.
Mhm.
So this weekend is Carol's birthday, so I really didn't want to do any track stuff on Friday or Saturday. Happy birthday, Carol, if you listen to this tomorrow. Um Saturday, helping her out with some errands. Sunday,
Mhm.
have friends coming over to work on their car. And then next weekend, go Columbia. Weekend after that, we're still in Columbia. Weekend after that, it's getting ready for Rev Up. And weekend after that is Rev Up. So I was like, okay, realistically, I have no weekends in my mind. So then I looked on Motorsport Reg, saw that there was a track night in America up in Dallas, 3 hours away. And it was Wednesday, it was yesterday, as of recording this podcast. So I told Carol, I was like, hey, I'm heading up to Dallas tomorrow evening. She goes, what for? I was like, I'm going to a track day. And she was fully supportive of me heading up there. It was only like
Mhm.
$155, and I've never done a track night in America, so I want to see how it was run.
Did you have to sign up for a SCCA membership?
You don't have to. If you don't have a membership, you have to pay $20 more than SCCA members. And the
Mm,
membership is $80 for the year. So basically, if the way I saw it is like if you track more than 4 times a year with them, then go and buy the membership. Otherwise, just pay the extra $20. I don't know how often if I don't know if I'll do it again. So I didn't pay for the membership for now, but after my experience yesterday with them, I may sign up just to do some more events because it was a lot of fun. So in any case, so worked Wednesday morning, had lunch, and then drove up to Crescent. Got there. The event is super super chill. So gates open at 2 p.m. and advanced and intermediate drivers meeting is not till 4 p.m. So you have 2 hours of prep time, and then at 4:20 is advanced people going out. So I'm in an advanced group and I head out there, and I was like, it was literally the same exact scenario as Harrods Hill. Immediately, I go into ECU limp mode, and this is with the latest revision that Brian has sent me after Harrods Hill. So I was
mm,
like, oh no, like, did I really fuck up the wastegate actuator? Like, he has now sent me 3 different tunes that supposedly should have worked, and
mhm,
they all are hitting this ECU limp mode. So I immediately get pulled back in, send him the data log, and he is such a homie since I had told him ahead of time that I'd be at the track, and I was like, "Hey, do you mind helping me out between sessions?" And fortunately, he was online and able to do that. So he sends me an updated log. I head back out, and it's fixed. Literally, it
sweet.
was just like one more tune that it was resolved.
What was the issue?
I don't know. He did something on the boost
Some
tables and on the car,
trickery,
some kind of
black
trickery.
magic.
What I will say, okay, so at Harris Hill, the very first tune, I'm gonna literally call them by the revisions. Revision 17 was utilizing some custom boost logic that Cobb had released, and he was trying to play around with it. It was not based off factory boost tables. So when I first hit that boost table at Harris Hill, he told me to flash back to tune 14, which was utilizing the factory boost table, boost logic, something like that. And at Harris Hill, that's when I then discovered the boost coupler. So when I
Mm,
got to Crescent, I tried tune 14 again because the only issue tune 14 had was that it was the boost coupler was popping off. But this time, tune 14 was actually popping off the coupler. I'm sorry, let me repeat that. Tune 14 was now also hitting the ECU limit,
mm.
and the latest revision 18 that Brian has sent me also had the same problem. But then it looks like you're holding a dildo now. For all the audio listeners, Fez just picked up his Fanatic or Fanatec shifter for his Simrid. It's an anal bead. This episode is now explicit. In case, and he's stroking it. God damn it, now I can't focus. Okay, so moving on. Um, so I told Ryan, he sent me an updated one, and yeah, everything's fixed. So once we got onto tune revision 19, 19, 19, I was no longer hitting the ECU limits, and I was actually able to go and start hitting go wide open throttle for multiple sessions. And the other thing that was really cool is that the SCCA people, like I had spoke to them and told them what I was there to do. I was there to shake down the car, and they initially said that like, well, hey, if you only get a couple laps in here, let us know and we'll like work with you. And work with me, they did. So I had signed up for the advanced session, but they were allowing me to go out in the intermediate and later in the evening the novice sessions because I was only doing 1 or 2 laps. Really, I was actually only doing 1 lap to get a wide open pull and then pulling back in the pits to go and have Brian look over the log and send me a revision. So over the course of yesterday, he sent me 4 revisions, and it feels really good. He sent me another one this morning, and I'll try that out on the highway. But I don't think I'm going to be able to do another track day until rev up, unfortunately. But in any case, if the latest one has some problems, I'll flash back to the one I was using at Crescent. But here's the kicker in all of this. I now have a new issue. That's
What's
completely non-boost related, non-ECU related. It's now
so
something physically with the suspension.
let's recap though. So you had
Okay.
a limp mode issue
Yeah,
because you
kind of
were
like your
over
dildo that you're holding.
boosting.
It's kind of limp.
I mean, this is as hard as it comes. Um, but it's
Please watch our YouTube videos so you know what I'm talking about. That's for all the audio listeners. Go on.
anyways, so you had limp mode issues because your car was
Yeah.
over boosting, which was a tune issue, and then now the tune is fixed
The tune
because
is good. Yeah, the tune is fixed.
Brian helped you tune the car on track
Yeah.
when you were at Track Nights of America.
Yep.
The boost coupler popping off is also fixed due to Cobb's new hard pipes that you installed.
Correct.
So we got the lit mode's fixed and the hard pipes are fixed.
Yep.
And now you have a third issue that you just developed.
Developed or discovered. So
Okay.
I still need to figure out what exactly it is, but what I learned yesterday on the track is that whenever I would go into like when I was going 10 tenths into a
Mhm.
braking zone and slammed on the brake, I
Mhm.
was feeling like this clunk. And at first I was thinking like, holy fuck, maybe it's my one of the bolts that had to come out when I was doing the transmission.
Mhm.
Um what's the bolt? The ball joint, the lower ball joint. I thought maybe the ball joint was loose. But I jacked up the car in the pit lane, or not in the pit lane, but back of the paddock and torqued it, and it's at torque spec, so it wasn't that. I
Mhm.
checked the torque ratings, the bolts were the top hats, it wasn't the top hat. So to the best of my knowledge there, that then ruled out anything going on with the coilover being connected to the car, either from the top or the lower ball joint. Also, I checked the knuckle where the coilover slips into. That
Mhm.
was torqued and tight. What I was unable to truly check was if the coilover itself is okay. So that was a clunking sound. And then while digging around in the engine bay, I saw that I had some kind of like fluid. It wasn't water because it wasn't evaporating on hot surfaces. It was sitting there. And when I touched it, it was kind of slippery.
Mhm.
So at first I thought it was brake fluid. But then I wiped down everything on the brake booster, brake master brake cylinder, the reservoir, and also tying down the cap tight as I possibly could. Went out, and the brakes always felt fine. I always had full brake pressure, never had any brake feeling issues. But it was like this random clunk that would happen only when I was really pushing it hard, and
Mhm.
I could feel the clunk if I like braked incredibly hard in the beginning, and then rather than trail braking, like lifted off the brake smoothly as if I was trail braking. Thank you, Carl, from last episode. If I release the brakes rapidly and, like, shifted the weight back again, like, towards the back, then I
Mhm,
would feel kind of a small clunk. So it felt like and also, the best way I could describe it, it almost felt like it was coming through the steering wheel. So to me, that felt like something, like, towards the top. That's why I was thinking, like, maybe the top hat was messed up. So, in any case, in all of this, I can't really tell, or all the signs kinda, for me, point to potentially there being a leaky coilover or a leaky shock. But as soon as we're done recording, I'm gonna go into the garage and jack up the car and take the wheel off and verify for myself.
mhm.
But there is something going on. It could be one single issue being that it's the shock, but then sitting here thinking about it, if I jacked up the car and the shock was truly, like, separated, I think the wheel would, like, flop down. Would it? Because, like, it's the coilover that's holding the wheel up. Like, if I disconnect the top hat, the wheel falls further down. So I think it's I don't know. I don't know enough about suspension design to
You're McPherson strut, right?
yes.
Sorry, I don't know if I have to sneeze or not.
I couldn't tell if it was sneeze or, like, you thinking really hard.
I was
Uh,
thinking if I needed to sneeze. Um, so your McPherson strut and your clunking is potentially coming from the top. Like there's a chance that the coilover might have separated. That's what happened to Dana when he installed his one-way motons at Gingerman. His rear motons were basically decoupled from the bottom shaft to like where the cylinder goes into the shaft, the mounting hardware part to
yeah,
the internals that kind of connect to it. It was kind of decoupled, and it was squatting quite a bit under load,
interesting.
right? Uh, and then when I blew my shock, my valve was like the valve inside was either stuck open or closed, where it was
Oh,
fully
interesting.
compressed. Like
Mhm.
my front left was fully compressed, and then when I pulled in, like my suspension was like sitting. There's no preload. There's no. It was sitting on the basically the spring was doing everything. The damper itself was fully compressed as much as it could be.
Yeah.
So when I jacked my car up, the wheel came down, but like it was stuck. It was coming down very, very, very slowly because like I think the valve was either internal valve was just bent or something that it wasn't allowing it the fluid to flow and let it push back down.
Hmm, okay.
So and there was what's it called? Oil spewing out of it too. So there's oil in my wheel bay. Well, a
Yeah.
wheel well. Um, it could be either one for you. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah. You
is your suspension compressed? Do you notice like the steering angle change? Did you notice that like uh, suspension ride height's different? Anything?
no, nothing like that. I
Okay.
think maybe the front end's a little bit more bouncy than I recall it being, so that's why I'm
Mm.
leaning towards it being the
How
shock
long have you
issue.
had this coilover?
3 years since
Okay.
2021.
Well, first I would do is check all the torque settings on your coilover overall,
Absolutely.
and then
Yep.
check also uh, if there's any oil leakage from anywhere, like rub the shaft, a little bit. That sounds wrong. Um, but yes, first I would check, all the torque settings on your coilover, your suspension,
Yep.
and then see if there's any oil anywhere on the shaft. Also, like I would like touch the shaft a little bit and see if there's any like residue of oil on there. Um, and then it's been 3 years since you've had your coilovers, and usually they do need a rebuild after like 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Um, so it could also be that.
I think it's just that time. I think it's realistically that even without the
Mhm.
suspension issue, it is, like, time to go and get them serviced. Um,
Yeah, and your
it's
coilovers are so cheap that it's probably cheaper to just buy them new again instead of, like, getting a
yeah, I
rebuild.
agree. Yep. No, I definitely agree. The thing is, like, I was hoping they would last this whole season, and
Mhm.
then I can look into it for next year, but looks like that, decision is gonna have to advance by about 8 months.
Now that you have finally fixed all of the other issues, now you gotta deal with suspension setup issues if you do replace your coilovers.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. I don't know, like, I felt like I set these up pretty quickly, but
Mhm.
I think well, yeah, it's gonna suck. You're right. But it is what it is. We'll
That's
live
what
with
it is,
it.
man. So what are you thinking now? What are you gonna do about the coilover?
I gotta figure out what the problem is and then make a decision from there.
Yeah, man.
If it's something that if it really is the coilovers, then I'll look around and probably I already spoke to Chris at Inertia Labs.
Mhm.
So he said that
I lost you again. Nick.
okay.
Oh, you're back.
Yeah, apparently my internet's crapping out.
It's okay. I was entertaining the audience with the In the Jungle song.
All right, so now we have swapped over to just my cell phone.
So you were saying you talked to Chris.
So I talked to Chris. Yeah, there is a chance that it could be ready, but if not, then I'll have to look around for some off-the-shelf options.
Ready? What? Like your rebuild for that?
No, I would order like brand new coilovers.
Which ones?
It'd have to be custom coilovers from Inertia Labs.
Yeah, but he doesn't make coilovers. He has them set up to your car, pretty much.
Oh, well, we haven't gone that far.
Okay. Well, if you didn't know, our sponsor for the podcast, Marisa Motorsports, does sell coilovers through Inertia Lab, actually.
That's precisely why I went called him up,
Yeah.
because I figured that I could have asked you to see like, hey, what are the chances that we get a coilover? But I figured I'd go straight to the source.
Makes sense.
But yeah, I'd have to go.
I mean, Inertia Lab's a great option to go through. I don't know what coilover he will set you up with. I'm assuming he'll also set you up with nitrons, which honestly not a bad option. They're great. Your Nitron is a European company, and your car is basically a European car, so I'm pretty sure they would make suspension for your car too.
Yep. Also, I just turned on a screen recording on the phone, so I could use this video for the YouTube portion. The audio is going to be audio between YouTube and Discord is going to be very different, but it's okay. But yeah, that's awesome to hear that. Yeah, he asked me like what car 2017 Focus ever has. He was like, oh yeah, that's fine. We can work with that.
Cool.
So
and the other option is for Fortunatos, obviously too. You know, your other option is also Fortunato. You can try that.
And the lead time would be like after Midwest Fest. It'd be wait. That's but that brings up another option is I just don't do Rev Up or Midwest if it gets to that point.
That's like super last resort though.
That is like 2 days before I'm supposed to head out last resort.
Yeah.
Because I can install the coilovers and do a street alignment the same day. Worst case.
Yeah, let me know. I'll drive down to help you out too. Needed.
Well, to do you wouldn't have to drive down for the install. I would just need your help for aligning potentially. But over at Gingerman, they have that alignment pad, so I could do the alignment, drive it out on the street, or maybe on the track and feel it out. Probably the street. Definitely. Verify the track. But I've got all the tools to make that happen.
Cool.
So we'll see. Anyway, that's all the updates I got. Harris Hill Raceway discovered boost problems. Crescent fixed my boost problems. SCCA, our homies, for helping me out and allowing me to get the time that I needed to figure it all out. Homie for staying up in the late evening and helping me tune the car between sessions. And then you're a homie for potentially hooking me up for coilovers.
Gotcha.
What else? What do you got?
So yeah, going back to I guess the Harris Hill weekends, I also was down at Harris Hill with you. Drove down a GR86. My plan was to also test my car that weekend, but my car is too loud to pass sound at Harris Hill, and I don't want to tow my car all the way down there and just not be able to drive all weekend. So I ended up driving a stock GR86 down to Harris Hill, and then yeah, it was a good time. The stock GR86 was fun. The last time I drove a stock GR86 was down when I bought my car and I drove it down from Kentucky to Dallas. And this car, I also got to track a GR86 on track with Harris Hill too, just for like a session or two. And it was really fun. It was really fun. It was really playful. Yes, it had some understeer because it had like positive camber in the front and whatnot.
Right.
But like if you were to dial the camber settings in and just drive the car as is, like don't touch anything and just monitor oil temps. The car's a blast. Like I had a great time in the car, and I don't know any car on the market right now for that's that cheap that gives you that kind of a feeling. I say Miata is the only one.
Are you talking about brand new or used?
I'm talking brand new.
I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like I don't get.
phenomenal package for a brand new car to
Mm,
wheel drive, manual, tossable.
lightweight.
Like the ND Miata, maybe, but
Mm.
like fun in a slightly different way. So it really comes down to preference, in my opinion. They both
So
have, but
another analysis on the ND Miata is that first is that this limited slip does not come in every ND Miata. It only comes in the club,
yeah,
and it's more expensive. So it's like 35 grand, I think, for the club. So it's actually more expensive than the GR86, at least for the one that you want.
yep,
And then it's low on power compared to the GR86. It's not as fast, right? Yes,
yeah,
it's lighter, so maybe it's more nimble and maneuverable, but I think the GR86 is a pretty good package overall. And I also don't. Most people don't fit in the ND. Like I don't fit in the ND. Um,
person. I have no problem. I
yeah.
think if I had to put a blanket situation on the two cars, I would put the GR86 and the BRZ twin over in the track environment on track road course, and I'd put the Miata on autocrossing. Like if you just asked me to blanket like one for
Mm,
one car in one sport, put the other car in the other sport, that's where I'd place them.
right.
Realistically, you could drive either car on the track or on autocross. And at that point,
Yeah.
it's preference and price.
If I lived in a hill country where there was like not hill country, but like mountains, where like Italian mountains or the
Different. Hill country is not
definitely
mountainous.
not that. No, no, no. I'm talking like the Italian back roads or like the French back roads.
Yeah, I was gonna say something more curvy than an overpass in Dallas.
Yes. Basically, I think at that point I would have to say that ND Miata is better. It is better because it's like a lighter weight car. You don't need a lot of power, and it's just a convertible. We get to enjoy that, right? But I think overall, as a package, overall package right now available on the market, I'm not biased, but I'm a little biased. Trying to put that bias aside, I think it's still a really good car in stock form. And it kind of made me realize that maybe I like screwed my car over. I can't drive it every day.
Yeah, but your car also would not be at the top of Club TR or near the top of
True.
Club TR. So
True that.
depends on what you want to do. Do you want
Exactly.
on the street all the time? If so, then stay stock. If you want to be near the top, do what you've done. If you want to have a little bit of both, don't do what I did. But like, I'm in the mid pack in street, so I can drive my car to work, drive to Dallas, and drive on track and drive back home.
Other than that, I came home and I'm adjusting my splitter right now, swapping over my splitter mounts because they bent. Adding some slitter rods as well. Got the car corner balanced yesterday. Gonna get it aligned today, and I will also be doing an SCCA event next weekend to test the car out.
What track?
ECR.
Oh, nice,
I'm
good.
doing it the 1.6 ECR, not the 1.27.
Oh, you're actually doing the short one.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever done the short one before?
Nope.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I think it's gonna be the same situation. Like I'm just trying to set the car up to how I want it to be. I don't really care about times or anything like that. So it's gonna be a test day for me.
Yeah, some people were asking me about times I did at Crescent. I was like, I didn't time myself at all. I went out on my street tires that were still inflated 46 psi cold. And the reason they're inflated that high is because the stock tires
Mm-hmm.
require psi on the little rubber band 19-inch wheels.
Mm-hmm.
The door card says 46. So I put
So,
it, even though I'm on 18s,
mhm,
uh, or TPMS,
mm.
TPMS sensors.
Did you? I would check the ratings for those Falcons that you have on there for street tires. If they're not rated at 46 psi, I would not run them at 46 psi.
They are. They're rated for 60.
Okay, then you're fine. But yeah, did you not drive it on the track tires then?
No, I just left it on the street tires.
Oh, sweet. Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, that was my weekend. Getting the car set up now, and gonna get some like minor stuff done. That's left in the car. It's like minor stuff, but it's a lot of stuff. So I feel like I'm forgetting a lot of stuff in here. You know, like I gotta do a brake bleed. I gotta do install my spats again. I gotta install my door handles on the car. And what else do I have to do? Oh, make the transport windows.
What are you gonna make your transport windows out of?
I was gonna make it out of the corrugated plastic boards that you can get. You know, the ones that you made poster boards from.
Yeah,
Yeah, from Walmart. I'm just gonna cut those to shape it like a window.
like the exact same kind of material that I use for the underside of my hood vent. So like
Mhm.
whenever I'm trailing the car around, or if I park somewhere and I know it's gonna rain, I always keep one in the.
Luckily, my intake is very hidden from the environment.
Yeah, mine's not. I have I have a sealed intake box that I can hot swap, not hot swap, but I can swap over in like 5 minutes
Mhm.
if I get to an event and it's raining.
Mm. Gotcha.
Otherwise, if it's just a rain that I can wait out, I'll just cover it up momentarily.
Mhm.
So, anyways, I'm gonna go figure out what's clunking around in my car, what the leak is coming from. Hopefully, it's the same source. So one solution fixes two problems.
I hope you don't have to buy new coilovers. That's
Yeah,
yeah, that's an expensive thing to do. Because then you're out like $4,000 at minimum.
don't remind me. I know.
And then you got to sell Carol's Tesla, and she's mad at you for selling the Tesla. So
hmm. Actually, I'd probably sell the Expedition if it really came down to selling one of the two. Selling the three cars, I'd be selling the Expedition.
yeah, and then just driving the car to events.
I was really just focused on making sure the ECU was fine, and then once the ECU was working, it just got into my head. I'm like, all right, well, let's push it and start sliding the car around. Also, I wasn't like out there for 20 minutes at a time. I never did more than 2 laps, and then I came in. So it never
That's good,
really,
man.
yeah. Oh, oil temps, coolant temps are fine. So hopefully 85 is keeping it cool. Seems like it is.
Well, anyways, man, I'm gonna get going too. Good podcast. We can conclude. Nick had a very stressful past week. Well, Nick had a very stressful past week. I am still struggling with my car a little bit, but not struggling, just trying to figure stuff out. Hoping to do a good test event next Saturday or Sunday, and we'll be ready for Rev Up, and then we'll have an actual racing home podcast from there.
True. The way you just described, like Nick has some struggles, but he's over it. I'm not over it. I'm over the original struggle, but I have a new struggle now that I need to figure out what exactly it is. So
True that. Good luck. Let me know if I can help in any way, dude.
I might be slamming the Expedition, tracking that at Midwest.
Do it.
They don't let.
It will be in Street GT with V6 twin turbo.
Yeah, I'm showing up with the V6 twin turbo in a 10-speed auto. The Slam Your Tundra. Let's go and do SUV body on frame racing.
Truck racing. Let's go. I'm down.
We still need to go mud bogging with Devin and Eddie.
Do it before I sell the truck.
We can do that in Midwest. We'll do it in the pond.
All right, let's go.
All right, talk to you later, man.
Take care, man. Bye.